After a fantastic night in the bull ring 1 week ago, we go to one of iRacing's staple short tracks. Everyone has the track if they have a subscription, but we'll see who has it the best tonight as we have two races in Cirrus Birthday Shootout here in the OSRL Short Track Showdown. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remain on the board as we speak, and as things get started, drivers still practicing the Legends cars as we take our first trip with this bunch of machines this season. It's going to be a field of over 10 drivers showing up as we speak. One driver in the air, the number 54, and that's Mo Perry up and over. And it looks like now with time running out, we'll get to the racing momentarily. And drivers looking to get back into the swing of things. Cole Freilich, your defending feature race winner here as well, looking to find himself back in victory lane. And Southern National Motorsports Park host to two races, the Legends and the 125-lap main event at the end of the night. Great to have y'all here live on FTN once again. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, alongside Cody Deemers, our producer for this series. Every driver right now waiting for things to get started. Warm-up we're in. There is no qualifying for this series. The Legends and any preliminary feature has a random qualifying grid, which means everything is set by a draw. Qualifying is already predetermined no matter how many drivers show up, and we already have a pole sitter, that pole sitter being Zach Knowles, who is not here tonight. Then the grid will see Cole Freilich promoted to the first place spot. He'll be on the provisional pole, which will be the real pole if Knowles doesn't show up for this race. 30 minutes for our first race of the day. Then we'll go to our 125-lap feature, and now with drivers winding down in practice, we should be able to get a good understanding of who's quick and who is not. Right now, Triffin Davis is the fastest man on the board in his number 27, with Jack Painter right now in second, 4 thousandths back. There's Steven Gibson in the FedEx number 21. He's rolling in reverse on the track, and it looks like he'll stay down on the apron, thankfully not hitting anyone. Vincent Guecci going to be on the way. He's in the number 5 tonight. Bit of a different look for Guecci here. He's had some success in the preliminaries. Almost won our very first race with the Formula V's. That was won by Jack Painter at the end of the day. However, Vincent gave him a run for his money. Maybe he could do that again tonight as Vincent finds himself currently position number 10 on the board. Just dropped down out that side of the single digits with Cole Freilich on the way and Mo Perry there as well. But Triffin Davis is the fastest man on the board. Nick Rotten still going too. But now, with 3 seconds of practice remaining, we're set to get to the grid as everyone depopulates from the track. Cirrus Birthday Shootout, celebrating one of our OSRL drivers from the very beginning in Cirrus Birthday. He's in the field tonight, and it looks like he got a good draw in his birthday race. But how about Cole Freilich? He won our most recent main feature at the Las Vegas Bull Ring. Now he'll be starting pole position in the Legend event next to Regan McCauley in the number 64. Looks like on debut, drawing inside the front row. Fantastic way to start a career here in the Short Track Showdown. Then Paul Michalogic going to be scored in the 3rd spot in the number 77. Beside him, Cirrus Birthday and Vincent Guecci to round out the top 5. Then going to be Mo Perry in the 6th spot with Ethan Cortair in the 7th position, and Triffin Davis, fastest man in practice, there in 8th. Going to be Nick Rotten, position number 9, and Steven Gibson there in 10th. And going past the top 10, we just got a few new entries, so we'll bring it to the 11th place driver, Jack Painter, in the number 97. Nathan Kiani is going to start in 12th, and to round out your field of 7 rows, Jeffrey Stanton, in his first start this season, number 61, starts in 13th, just behind the number 17. Drivers already on the move here, grid just about over. And now, the pacing is in full swing. And as we come through turns 1 and 2 onto the backstretch already, Southern National, one of the most well-known short tracks in the iRacing scene. Of course, as we mentioned, it is a free track. But it is quite the good one. I'll tell you this much, iconic with the yellow walls and its distinct circuit is 4/10 of a mile in Lucama, North Carolina. It's been open since 1993, celebrating its 30th anniversary this season, and over 4,500 virtual fans have packed the stands, and they're looking for one good show tonight. Gonna begin with the legends as the pace car drops in, and Cole Fralick leads us to the green here in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout. And Cole Fralick going to be able to lead the way nice and smooth up the wall. One driver goes. It's going to be a spin and a huge wreck already. Back of the field comes into calamity. Nathan Chiani going to be up and over. Huge hit for the number 27 just ahead. Looks like Jeffrey Standen involved in that one. And we'll have to bring it to the instant replay immediately. Nathan Chiani back of the field just behind the situation. Triffin Davis took a wild ride. We'll take a look at his perspective soon because it looks like Davis in that red machine went up and over the most. Chiani lies in the back expecting a caution. And while he's right, it comes right to him. And a barrel roll up and over. Huge hit. Luckily lands on all fours. But undeniable. That's going to be a rough one to remember. No damage. Everything's automatically repaired. However, Nathan Chiani going to lose some track position even still. Regan McCauley, Jeffrey Standen, and Triffin Davis all involved as Cole Fralick leads the way into number 15. I'd like to put the cameras back on Nathan Chiani for just a moment. He's running a special paint scheme, and it looks like on the back of it, it says Save the USPS. That's a tribute to the Grumman. I believe the acronym goes long-lasting service vehicle. Might be incorrect there, but Grumman, who have been very strongly involved with the U.S. Air Force for many years. They also created the cars that are used for the USPS to this day. Coming out of Long Island, New York, Grumman's a company that I have sort of a connection with. They're pretty near to where we are here at FTN, so it is great to see a little bit of representation. Chiani's not the only driver with that paint scheme, mind you. Got another one just a few spots ahead. Looks like multiple drivers coming tonight with the USPS look. One of which they are going to be Nick Rott in the number 60 machine. And we're going to correct ourselves. The Grumman Long Life Vehicle, the LLV, that's the USPS truck that's been used for over 25 years now. Quite an iconic one. They've been trying to replace it for quite some time, though. Maybe they'll get around to that this year, but before it goes, they're going to try to get it in victory lane. Green flag flies yet again. Cole Fralick leads with Paul Mikologic second. Fralick leads him off the stretch yet again with Mikologic staying in second, and the USPS fleet is flying. Got the number 89 there in third, then going to be number 54, Mo Perry coming with him as well. 3 wide now through 1 and 2. Mo Perry going to get rubbed up the track just a bit. He'll have to fade back to Vincent Guecci and let Jack Painter go as well. Both drivers make their way through, and there's another spin. Painter, Davis, and Guecci, and one's in the wall. That will bring out the caution yet again. Vincent Guecci involved with Triffin Davis leads to Mo Perry getting involved as well, and just like that, the caution flies for the second time tonight. And just like that, caution yet again. 3 wide for a moment, but they back out of it. Namely, Mo Perry gets wiggled up the track. Nothing more you can do in that situation but wait. And it looks like then Guecci tries to pull away. The 21 of Steven Gibson goes down low for a 3 wide move. Then takes Jack Painter up. And the 54 has no choice but to get involved with it as well. Damage already repaired. But still, going to lose some track position yet again. Cole Fralick now finds himself down in 11th. And Cirrus Birthday is your race leader, with most of the drivers 2 seconds behind the man on the top of the board. Paul Mikologic scored in second as it stands, then going to be in the 3rd spot, Ethan Cortera, and now it looks like in 4th, Nathan Chiani, with Nick Rott in number 60, rounding out your top 5. One driver going to be getting their lap back, that's Regan McCauley in the 64. The bright blue machine going to be at full pace right now, getting back to the front of the field. And while we got a bit of time, how about we go through some more history? We mentioned the USPS machines, but how about we mention the cars we're running tonight? The Legends cars. spec racing, used most often for very young drivers. You might not believe it, Legends Racing has only been around for just over 30 years. In April of 1992, the very first Legend car was unveiled at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, which is the crown jewel event for all Legends Racing. Drivers like Daniel Hemrick have won there, NASCAR Xfinity Series champion of just a few years ago. And even though they've only been around for that long, they're certainly iconic with the older bodies of 1930s coupes. The one specifically on iRacing is modeled after a 1934 Ford. It's a newer breed of racing, but it has become a mainstay and a staple of all short tracks around the country, even in the virtual space. And Cole Fralick's got a pretty good grip on his right now. Restart number 3, Fralick takes him once again. One driver going to be around, that's already Nathan Chiani. Chiani in the back of the field, and it looks like the 46 of Ethan Cortair now still spinning. Triffin Davis goes around, caution will fly, and we have not seen a long green flag run yet. That's going to delay our wait. Chiani's going to be the first man to spin, then it looks like the number 27. Let's take a look back and see. And coming through, restart yet again. Looks like all is well up front, which has been the theme so far, but from the middle of the pack on back, Chiani gets tapped, and that's going to send a few drivers around. You can see Ethan Cortair going for it, and even then, Triffin Davis tries to avoid it and fails at doing so, involved in another spin there. Smoke going right across the track. 24 minutes remain on the board with Cole Fralick, Paul Michalogic, and Cirrus Garinge leading in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout here in the OSRL Short Track Showdown. The Legends Race, your preliminary event. Until we get to the feature, we've got to sit through at over 23 minutes of racing here, and I'm sure from here on out, things are going to get much more exciting up at the front. Cole Fralick's had a good grip on the race lead so far, but Michalogic and Garinge have been able to make some time up using the track position to their advantage. They haven't had to be all too aggressive so far. Fralick in a different position. He has to fight a bit harder to get those leads off the restarts. Everyone else can lie back until the race is almost over. We'll see what they do this time. Restart number 4. And now, another driver going to get very close to spinning, but all is the same. Up in front, Cole Fralick leads with Steven Gibson down low, side by side, and now Mo Perry goes around. Number 54 is going to be spinning. Everyone else stays at it, and it's going to be green nonetheless. Double file back of the field. We're looking at the number 17 of Nathan Chiani yet again with Regan McCauley. Backpack is getting close. Leaders are still the same. Now Steven Gibson's got the top spot, and the number 21 finds himself at the head of the field with Cole Fralick lying back, Michalogic there in third, and Cirrus Garinge just outside the podium now. A side-by-side battle for second persists. Number 77 of Michalogic lays down low yet again. He's got that number 15 on his top side, but looks like Cole Fralick not able to continue battling. He'll fade back just a bit more than he'd like. Now finds himself position number 3. He's now going to see the number 15 machine, of course, right in front of him for Cirrus Garinge's perspective. How's about we ride on board with the number 89 and see what it's all about inside the cockpit? And as we take a look at the field right now, trying to get a view, and here we have it. This is from the inside of the birthday boy himself, Cirrus Garinge. Now on the back bumper of the Apex action, number 15 looks very solid when it comes to position. Track position has been good all race long for the 89. As you can see, very delicate in the steering wheel, no major movements, all controlled, all calculated, and it keeps them up in front. Now watching as Steven Gibson loses the lead to Paul Michalogic. And just like that, the battle going to continue. Michalogic now takes the race lead with Steven Gibson shoved up high. Going to be Cole Fralick getting back down to the bottom yet again. Double file for second. Leaders beginning to break away. And fourth and fifth stay just outside of the picture. Jack Painter now going to be there too in the fifth spot. Number 97 sees them go 3 wide. Now the 15's held middle. Cirrus Garinge tries to go for the second spot immediately. Looks like he'll take it with Cole Fralick running up the track. Now they're going to be rubbing up even more. Steven Gibson going to go around in front of the field. He spins. Nobody else hits him. And it looks like the caution will not fly. Steven Gibson going to get it back rolling. Luckily, does not. involve himself in anything else. Going to be a spin, and just like that, going to be back on the way. The leaders are Mika Logic, going to be still in the first spot, then Cirrus Birthday second. Steven Gibson fades back to 13th as we speak, and the lead battle has simmered down just a bit more as Jack Painter now goes to the inside for third. And Painter's going to spin. Jack Painter goes around, and he gets it collected too. We'll take an instant replay to find out what just happened there. Jack Painter, the number 97, goes around, and once again another driver spins, but does not end up with another driver. So spins, single car, so we stay green. We took a lap back to get the full information on the incident. He was racing side by side with Cole Freilich at the time of the spin. As you can see, the number 97 drops down low, and he gets loose off the corner. Vincent Guecci barely avoids him, and so does the pack. Now, it's going to be up in front. Guecci in that number 97, of course, battling each other, and it's the leader of Paul Mikulajic still up at the top of the board. Cirrus Birthday remains there in the second spot. Cole Freilich's going to be third, and Guecci is in fourth. Now we're seeing that Vincent Guecci has that second pack in his control, slowly but surely reeling in Cole Freilich. That time by, he was a tenth of a second quicker than Cole on the most recent lap. Third pack is controlled by Ethan Cortera, as Nathan Chiani now loses much more time on that lap. Looks like an issue for him. He's down on pit road. We stay green. Another driver involved with an issue as the packs begin to get closer and closer to one another. And with the number 46 of Cortera leading this three-car bundle, he's trying to get up to Cole Freilich and the other bundle just ahead. But Steven Gibson goes around once more, and the 21 spins. This will bring out the caution. Steven Gibson, the number 21, from bad to worse, going to fade back even further. And just like that, Gibson is going to be back on the track. This is an instant replay, though. He's going to go down low. Nick Rotten's there, and they're going to hit each other violently and wreck each other at the same time. Looks like Rotten goes under. Looks like Gibson goes above, and they both hit each other. Almost looked intentional on both ends there. As we head back to the live feed, that will bring out the caution, and with 18 minutes remaining, we're back under yellow. Steven Gibson getting his laps back at the moment. It's going to be the 77 of Paul Mikulajic out in front. Then going to be Cirrus Birthday second and Cole Freilich in the third position. We've got the yellow flag out as we speak, so how's about we get a word from one of these drivers? We're going to drag in our defending main race winner. How about we get a talk with Cole Freilich, currently sitting third in the number 15. Looks like he got the track position. You've had pace. What can you do from here?
Well, right now I'm trying to diagnose what the hell this notification sound I keep hearing is. We're on a new PC. We're running 160 FPS. So I'm just here living, honestly. We're just living.
Half the race down, half the way to go. Well, we're coming back to green now. You think you can do anything to get this win?
I can dump Paul. That's about the only strategy I got here.
Well, there we have it. Keeping it simply, Cole Freilich and number 15. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
And Freilich going to be back on the way. It looks like he thinks Paul Mikulajic's got the speed to beat. We'll see if that's really the case here. As 16 minutes on the board, we'll have Mikulajic and Cirrus Birthday leading the fifth restart. And Mikulajic's going to get tagged. Just like that, he's going to lose the lead. Guecci going to rub him up on the high side, and now Cirrus Birthday is up in front. Looks like it's Cole Freilich taking it a bit too literal there. Makes some contact, but Mikulajic hangs on and finds himself side by side there for a second. Leader, Cirrus Birthday, got an advantage now of a few car lengths, and with the Legends being such small machines, that's a major gap, even if it's only half a second. Looks like about a quarter of the track from our perspective. Now, side by side, Triffin Davis puts down the pressure as the number 77 of Mikulajic now gets ran up high. Side by side, even still, Cole Freilich going to make contact with Mikulajic again, and Paul's getting rubbed all over the track. Pressure from both Vincent Guecci and Cole Freilich just behind him. And one to the wall. Jack Painter going to be spinning in the back of the field. Number 97 goes around. 6 seconds down. Back of the frame, you can see another spin. That's a huge hit for Jeffrey Stanton. And we will stay green as he comes down a pit road immediately thereafter. Now we've got ourselves a smaller field, even more. Nathan Kiani's 11 laps down. Nick Rotten's 1 lap down. And now so is Jeffrey Stanton. 10 drivers remain on the lead lap. And as halfway mark has been hit, time's been flying, as now we're looking at the Steven Gibson machine just behind Cole Fralick, who just hit the wall. Fralick gonna now be 3 wide for second and barely escapes it with a very well-timed maneuver as Vincent Guecci spins. Guecci gonna be around, no caution flying, and now at the 15-minute mark, we'll see whether or not we get a halfway caution. Looks like we have not yet. Leader is going to be Cirrus Birthday by now 0.6 of a second. Then we'll see Triffin Davis, Paul Mikologic, and Mo Perry as Cole Fralick now goes down to the bottom side, the number 54. Perry with the run keeps the spot. And a nice move there for the number 54 machine of Mo Perry, able to get by Cole Fralick eventually. Looks like Fralick wore out his stuff just a bit more than he'd expect. Now behind Steven Gibson, and Gibson's going to have to hold on to the spot. This is the battle for the 6th position. Fralick going to go down the bottom side, and it looks like he's clear yet again, but has lost a lot of time in regards to track position already. Whether or not he can make it up, of course, going to be tricky without a caution on the circuit. Now you'll see 3rd place going to be occupied by Paul Mikologic as we watch a battle side by side with the 46 at Ethan Cortair and Nick Rotten in the 60. Double file, 2 rows deep. Fralick going to be up high once again, trying to get that run as the 54 also ahead has a battle of his own right. That's going to be the Mo Perry machine just ahead of Regan McCauley. And it looks like Mo Perry gets that spot. It looks like now every battle is going to be single file. And now things are getting a bit more calm yet again. Steven Gibson makes it by Cole Fralick and does clear him. Drives down to the bottom. Takes Fralick right there with him. Contact just a bit, but everything stays clean as Fralick now goes down to the bottom side. Ethan Cortez parking it. Looks like he's going to stop on the front stretch and immediately take himself down to pit road and retire from this race. 2 wide yet again. Now we got Nick Rotten in the mix. Cole Fralick's got the advantage on both drivers, but Rotten's got the inside line, and that is a major advantage. Gonna drive down to the inside yet again. Has a lunge, takes it through 2 tires deep, can't stick the pass. Fralick's got the run yet again, takes it up to the high side to make the groove work. Second groove has momentum, and they make it by the spinning Vincent Guecci. Thankfully no hit, and they stay green once more. Fralick going to stay up on the high side here, trying to maintain his position. Number 60 machine works down to the bottom yet again, and now Fralick's got the spot by another car length, moving away as we speak. An advantage going to head to Cole Fralick. How about it? 12 minutes remaining. The battle rages on, and with time still running out, the battle just outside the podium, it is fierce. Currently, the top 2 guys stay the same as Fralick spins, and with Cole Fralick going around, he'll immediately head down to pit road, leaving Steven Gibson and Nick Rotten to battle with one another. How about that? Cole Fralick having a very good run, and it looks like it might come to a close on that note. 21 machine of Steven Gibson runs it up high once again, and now he'll have to work on Nick Rotten, who gets the spot after some aggressive driving just behind. Just like that, Triffin Davis going to be in frame. Davis, as it stands, in his number 27, leads the way by 0.6 of a second, and he's putting drivers laps down on the frame. Vincent Guecci now tucks in right behind the number 27, and Guecci right now finds himself 2 laps down, has been struggling to keep that car at full pace, as Paul Mikologic now going to try to work down to the bottom side on Cirrus Birthday, makes it work for second, just barely clear. Double file yet again, 77 down low, going to be the number 89 who was up high, does not make it happen, and now as they come past the pit road wall, it's Mikologic inside the podium firmly, and the 89 sitting on the bubble. Guecci spins once again, hits the back bumper of his number 5. He'll stay green because he does not end up with any major damage. Steven Gibson back on the track. And now only 7 drivers remain on the lead lap, going back to Cole Fralick. It's been domination from Driving Davis on this run. 10 minutes left, and no cautions are thrown in the final 3 minutes of any preliminary race. That's the way it goes to guarantee a green flag finish. Unless absolutely necessary, that's the way it's going to go. And right now, Guecci once again up to the top side in the wall. The 77 still has second. Closest battle on the racing circuit appears to be here for the second spot, as lappers are getting closer to your leader yet again. Driving Davis, 62 laps in, is catching up to the number 61, and he'd love to put him down 1 lap more, as Cole Fralick now fades back to the pit row. He's 2 laps down already. And now we got the USPS machines battling one another. You got Nick Rotten, the number 60. He scored in 7th. Then it's going to be Mo Perry, who is in 5th. But as it stands, Mo Perry on the track is behind Rotten as the caution flies for Vincent Guecci. Guecci wrecks yet again, and that's going to be the final straw. Instant replay will show you it looks like he lost his front end, and Vincent Guecci going to bring out yellow flag number 6. He goes down to the apron, has no control in his machinery, and he's going to almost get loose there. Looks like through 3 and 4, it got a bit worse. And coming out of corner exit, Vincent Guecci still trying to keep up with the pack just ahead of him. And he ends up in the infield wall, goes down there deliberately, and spins violently, flips 2, and that will bring out the caution. And just like that, the race gets its reset. 9 minutes remaining on the board. Vincent Guecci wrecks, and now we're under caution once more. And as we go through it, yet again, legends are the first ladder on the whole deal. They're the first step on the ladder if you want to get up to the top in racing. Well, when it comes to iRacing, it's the same way too. So if you want to check out all the information on eNASCAR side of the pond, be sure to check out the official eNASCAR newsletter. Fantastic information about the Premier Series, the Coca-Cola iRacing Series, where drivers compete for $300,000. And exclusive information and access to all news about the eNASCAR hauler, which travels to over 15 NASCAR events nationally over the Cup Series season. They're a fantastic place to test out your skills as a driver, learn more about the platform, and even get a free membership code. So if you'd like to check out all the word about eNASCAR, visit the official eNASCAR iRacing newsletter, FTN, brought to you always by the iRacing platform, the best online simulator in motor racing. And of course, another QR code for y'all to scan, our official Discord server. The Fireball Talks NASCAR Discord server gives you insider access to every league that the FTN channel broadcasts throughout the week. If you love to join as a broadcaster, as a viewer, as a racer, we'd love to have you there as well. The link is always in our description, so if you'd want to check it out, visit the FTN Discord server using the QR code or the link in every FTN stream description. We'd love to have you there as well. 7 minutes, 40 seconds remain in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout preliminary event. Tongue twisted there. It's been a twist and turn race in terms of strategy. Very little has been concrete. It's moved up and down, and with 69 laps on the board, it's been a very nice run for Paul Michalogic. Whenever he gets that lead, he runs away, and he's got it again now. You gotta wonder, is this the moment we see the race winner come out of the pack? Does he break away? Does he make a big move to get out of there? Or does he let drivers like Cirrus Birthday continue to battle him? That remains to be seen. Just like that, 77, going to be bottom lane, 1 lap to green. This could be the final restart of the day, as the double file procedure is back for what will be the 6th restart of the session. 6 minutes remaining, no cautions in the final 3 minutes. We're running out of time here. Now, we'll see what Paul Michalogic has if he wants to take home the win for himself. Green flags out yet again for restart number 7. Cirrus Birthday going to work up high there. He loses many spots while Mo Perry's going to be able to be the big winner. He finds himself now in second, chasing down Michalogic. And the big thing about Paul's run is he's not gone down a pit road at all. Mo Perry's on a 7-lap old stint, and now the battle for the lead is side by side. almost 3 wide. Now it is. Mo Perry going to be down to the bottom. He gets that lead and clearly pulls away. Mika Logic fades back and gets turned. Down to the apron. Nasty hit. We stay green. 6 minutes remain. Mo Perry leads. Then it's going to be Triffin Davis in second. They're battling throughout the field. Side by side with Sears Thuringe there. 61 machine just ahead of Jeffrey Standen, trying to now work on the number 60 of Nick Rotten. They're all double file as we speak, and with time running out, the race lead battle now 2 new drivers. Mo Perry has the advantage. He's up in front in the number 54. Triffin Davis, he's in second, and now the battle for the lead looks to be side by side. They fake it. Now, we'll see if they make it so yet again. 54 machines got that race lead. Not too far behind, though. Triffin Davis is in striking distance and is trying to make the pass happen this time through. 5 minutes and counting. Further down, the USPS machine out in front now has the race lead, and time is ticking even further. Can Mo Perry make it work, or will Triffin Davis steal this one in the final few minutes? It all remains to be seen. Mika Logic just retired from the race. That ends his night. He finishes in the 10th position. Now, the rest of the field still up for grabs. Triffin Davis down low for the race lead, and he will take it. Mo Perry switches back to the bottom, but no luck. New race leader, number 27. And now Mo Perry, we're getting an inside cockpit view of his number 54. He's going to have to get back on the loud pedal, put the power down, and chase him yet again. You can see the rear mirror in that number 54's cockpit, of course. Very open cockpit in these Legends. You need all the view you can get, front, sides, and the rear. It's a very small space, so the more visibility, the better. Now, Mo Perry will see Jack Painter on his inside. 97 trying to go for the second preliminary win of the season, and it looks like he's got himself up in the second spot. Better place to be than anywhere else besides the first place. He's just got to get one more spot as Vincent Guecci spins again. That's going to be, I believe, the 4th spin of the day for the number 54 machine. Of course, not the 54 tonight. He's going to change to the number 5 for this race. And now Mo Perry in that 54 fades back to Gibson, and now it's going to be Perry in 4th, Steven Gibson in 3rd, and Jack Painter 0.6 of a second behind your race leader. Painter, number 97, has an awful lot of time to track down your leading man. 82 laps on the board so far. He's got to be that much quicker, though, if he wants an opportunity to chase down the 27. Gibson, down to the bottom, yet again, has the advantage. Mo Perry will have to run up on the high side if he has anything left, and it looks like he'll try it up there. Does not work. Drops down to the bottom, gets himself now even lower. They'll both go down to the apron and a near spin. Thankfully, a near miss. They'll keep it going under green. Mo Perry sees the 3-minute signal is out. No more cautions for the remainder of this race. Now it's all green until the checkered flag falls. Perry's gonna fade back, and now it looks like it could be said and done up in front. Triffin Davis has a 1-second lead over the remainder of the field, and Jack Painter, while just a second out, might not have enough. 3rd place going to be now held by Steven Gibson. He begins to break away even further. 4th is going to be then Mo Perry, and in the 5th spot is Jeffrey Stanton. Nick Rotten's going to be there in 6th with Cirrus Birthday in 7th. Regan McCauley's the final man on the track in 8th. Right now, only 8 drivers on the lead lap, and 2 are in jeopardy of going one down. 64 machine of Regan McCauley will direct the cameras there. He's just ahead as we speak, in front of your leader by just about 3 seconds. There's a possibility the final 2 drivers on the lead lap get put 1 lap down. Looking off the rear view camera, it looks like the leaders are on the same stretch as him, front or back stretch, but Regan has still just a bit more of an advantage. Might not have to worry about it unless it is made. Back up in front, Davis going to be leading, then Jack Painter in 2nd, and Steven Gibson going to be in 3rd. Mo Perry still in 4th with 1:30 remaining. One in the wall, that's Perry yet again, and it looks like Mo Perry fades back even further. Top 3 at the stripe, only separate by 1 second, and it might not look that way. These Legends machines, of course, less of a physical footprint, allows them to have a lot more versatility when racing. You can use that high side, that bottom side, the middle as well. Many grooves work at Southern National with these smaller machines. We'll see whether or not that carries over to our final event of the day, our 125 lap main feature with the late model stocks. 1 minute left on the board. It looks like those drivers just ahead will be lapped if Davis keeps up the pace. Final minute here in the Legends race in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout, and Triffitt Davis has a major advantage. He just has to come through calmly for what looks to be only about 3 more laps of racing. It's going to be Triffitt Davis still up ahead of the field, coming up on Regan McCauley. McCauley's a lap machine, should be able to play nice, and it looks like that will be the case. 64 going to go right up on the high side, let Triffitt Davis go. Next driver up going to be Cirrus Birthday, and it looks like it's going to be a battle to stay on the lead lap. The bumper going to be put to the 89, and Davis going to move them up the track. Now the USPS machine to the back of the field has to fade back to the 1 lap down category. White flag out in Southern National for the first time tonight. It's going to be led now by Triffitt Davis. He's got the field by his fingertips. Final lap, final 2 corners, and it looks like on this run, nobody will beat him. Triffitt Davis wins in Southern National, barely getting it done, just ahead of the now flipping Jack Painter. And a nice long green flag run to finish up this race. Cirrus Birthday comes home on top and has already depopulated himself from the server. Just like that, Triffitt Davis, race winner. Unbelievable stuff there. Looks like Davis got in the wall at the end. Jack Painter had a chance, couldn't make it stick. Now with all that said and done, how about we get to your final race results and see what's going on. Take an instant replay and take a look at Triffitt Davis's drive for the win. Number 27 machine right there on the bottom of your screen as he was chasing down lappers, able to get by almost every driver. And now the race is over. How's about we take a look at your results? And with that in mind, the Cirrus Birthday Shootout starts off with a bang. Triffitt Davis wins by 1/10 of a second at a Jack Painter in position number 2, Steven Gibson in 3rd, and Jeffrey Standen on debut, making it up to 4th. Then it's going to be Mo Perry in 5th and Nick Rotten in 6th. First driver 1 lap down is Cirrus Birthday in the 7th spot with Regan McCauley in position number 8. And then in the 9th spot, Vincent Guecci 16 laps down. 22 laps down is Paul Migalogic in the number 77, and in the 11th position, just after we see your top 10, Cole Freilich 35 down with Ethan Cortair 12th, and finally Nathan Chiani, the last driver in the order, 13th at the bottom of the field. It looks like we're going to have some time to get an interview with your race winner. We'll see whether or not Triffitt Davis is available for the interview. We're going to get some contact here and find out what's going on. And Triffitt Davis, the number 27, gets it done, able to make the moves at the right time on Mo Perry. That was the race-winning decision, going down to the bottom side, making sure Mo Perry used up his stuff early. And just like that, the 27 came out on top. Looks like as it stands, we got no word from our race winner. However, it looks like now we'll find out whether or not we can get anything from the number 27. Looks like as it stands, we don't have a word. We'll find out what's going on in just a few minutes' time. The late model race coming up, so we'll bring you a brief iRacing promotional break as we switch servers and head to the main feature, the late model event, here in the Short Track Showdown.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Event on full display in just 15 minutes time. Practice going to be back on the way here in the Southern National Motorsports Park. The 4/10 of a mile circuit in North Carolina now has over 10 drivers, 15 of which as we stand, getting ready to get at it with the big cars for the big race. 125 laps around the track tonight for our main feature in the Cirrus Birthday Bash. Welcoming you back to FTN if you joined for the first race of the night, or if you're joining just now, great to have y'all once again. As it's been for the past few weeks this season, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, alongside Andrew Schulte for this race as our color commentator, with Cody Deemers as our producer for this show. 15 minutes on the board in practice before the race gets started. Looks like we'll be going green at about 8:10. When things get going, it should be a good one. Zach Knowles is back racing. 742 is the fastest man on the board, and it looks like a huge hit there. Number 60 going to go around, and so is Nathan Kiani. It is troublesome all throughout the field. Looks like it's a wreck fest as every driver pushing themselves a bit too hard. Andrew, after what we saw in the Legends race, certainly a lot of great racing up and down the pack. How can these drivers adapt to the late model event that is just ahead of us?
Late models are completely different cars. You may know, completely different body shape, longer wheelbase. I've had the pleasure of driving these cars in a completely different league. They were fun to drive, sound great, drive great, are a great short track car. Now, I don't know specifically if the tire model was updated on these things. As you may know, when these cars came out, they did have a lot of grip in their early run, but then as the run went along, the grip did start to die off. So we'll see how drivers are able to adapt to the track tonight with, you know, with all the tire model. And I don't know how many tire sets we do have, but would be interesting to see if we have 0 to see how drivers do save their tires, or if they have 1, would be interesting to see under a caution to see how drivers do change their tires. So back to you, David.
And when it comes down to the tire sets, they made the difference in the Legends race. Mo Perry wore up his stuff just a bit too early in the final run. That gave the win to Triffin Davis. Now tonight we have one extra set of tires, which I believe means we have a total of 3, the one the drivers of course start with, and 2 extra sets on pit road. We'll have a bit more than usual, and tire wear made the difference in the last race. Paul Mikologic did not pit all race long. He lost the lead to Mo Perry. Perry wore up his stuff, and then the lead changed once again. Tires are a big point, of course, to focus on in tonight's race, and I think that's a great point to keep an eye out for. How aggressive you think these guys will be? We have a scheduled caution, lap 63. Should we expect to see guys wear up their stuff early?
Definitely. I mean, you can get the chance to get early track position. That'll definitely let us see who can save their tires 60 laps into a run if everything does go to plan. Green for the first 63 laps, then caution, then going green for the last half of the race. So definitely would be interesting to see how these guys do conserve their tires, see if some guys decide to conserve their tires and save it for maybe a later caution, or maybe some guys wear out their stuff and see how they do with one extra tire set.
I think it would be great to see some green flag racing in this series. We've seen quite a few yellow flags in our main event throughout the year. We have seen some good longer runs, and it looks like the field tonight is a bit shorter than most often, so we might see a different attitude on the track. As it stands, it looks like a total of just over 15 drivers, now 18 to be exact, have registered. Zach Knowles is the fastest man on the board. 15th right now on the timing chart is Regan McCauley. As we take a look at Cirrus Birthday, the big birthday celebration this entire race night is, and it's all confetti for the number 89 machine. Celebration of Cirrus Birthday, one of the OSRL originals, should we say. Been here since the beginning. A fantastic driver, has a lot of speed, and looking to use it tonight as the 89 currently sits 11th in practice. Of course, had a good run last time we went at it just a few minutes ago. Could this be redemption, and could we see Garinge make it up to the top of the charts and come home with the win?
I mean, yeah, running 11th, obviously. Not, I mean, I don't know how many people have practiced, maybe looks like 12 to me. But definitely, if he stays out of trouble, could be up there at the end of the race. And all that matters at the end of the short track race to me, honestly, is how well you're able to go through the pack. Honestly, like, let's take a rookie street stock race, for example, with, you know, a track that's ran here, which is Southern National. Free iRacing track comes free with the iRacing subscription that you do get. The main point is that you want to survive to the end of the race to, you know, get more safety rating, obviously, and maybe if you're in D class to get more I rating. I mean, you want to do that in general in iRacing, but, you know, it's a completely different, I wouldn't say completely different mindset, but a similar mindset in, like, you want to say to be up there for points. Obviously this is an I rating, it's an unofficial session, but to be up there in points, so it'll be interesting to see how these guys do race throughout the night. David?
And the points race has been up and down throughout the season. I'll tell you this much, it's been multiple drivers fighting for the championship lead. As it stands, Triffin Davis leads the championship over Terry Grindell by only 3 points. Cole Freilich is now third in the championship, running with Nathan Chiani fourth. Nolan Sanford is fifth, with Jack Painter sixth, and Mo Perry seventh. Zach Knowles, after only 1 race start, finds himself now in seventh. Now, I'll tell you this much, our original winner of the season, James Thurston, not even on the board. Consistency is key, and he's back here tonight looking to get some points. You can see the 62 back on the frame. That Ford Mustang won in Music City. He got it done at Nashville. Can he get it done again? He's the only driver who's won every main event he's started in. Of course, now he's looking to do it once more and head himself back up to the checkered flag.
Honestly, James Thurston is a great driver. I wouldn't be surprised to see him run up front at the end of these 125 scheduled laps. He's a great driver. He's really good at what he drives, no matter what he gets in. He could be in GT3 car and next gen, or maybe even a super late, and he's going to run up front. You can never count this man out of a race. He won, I believe that would be 4 races in the OSRL Gen 4, which is the main league, and I think he can win a few more in the Short Track Showdown this summer. David?
And he's already gotten one win on the season here in the Short Track Showdown. The big goal for him, do it once again. He finds himself already up to 7th on the timing charts with only 7 laps to practice. So he is quick, and he's gaining already on the drivers up in front. Jonathan Oates with a brand new look tonight in that number 73 machine. Tell you this much, how's about we get a word with the man who of course owns this league. Looks like as it stands though, not available for comment. So we'll wait on that one. A lot of drivers here still getting their bearings in. One fast repair tonight. That is it. You mess up past that, your race is over. How important is it going to be to manage that fast repair, especially with 125 laps?
Well, with the iRacing short track, well, specifically a short track in general, no matter where you go on a short track, in real life NASCAR, or AC on iRacing on R Factor 2, no matter where you go, you're going to have to be careful because short tracks are short. There's not a lot of room for air. There's not a lot of room for passing, and you've got to be very careful on what you do. You got to avoid those big wrecks, and honestly, short tracks can be very intense at times. Do like a 500 Bristol NIS race, and I don't know, very intense racing, and you've got to conserve your car till the end. That's very important for these short track races.
And that's a certainty. Of course, you got to keep your car in one piece to make it to the checkered flag a winner. You know what I'd like to see? How about we get an onboard perspective with the fastest man in practice, the 742 of Zach Knowles. He finds himself fastest by 38 1/1000ths of a second. As we look inside the cockpit camera, he's right now racing Nathan Chiani on the track as he now ends up in a spin. So we might have to wait on that just a bit more. He's going up and over. In some trouble here. He'll come back to pit road and momentarily be back going at it yet again. You can see still on pit road, shaking the wheel. Looks like he just got out of the car, so we might have to go to another driver. How about we take a look now at, say, Triffin Davis. He's a perfect example. Already won our Legends race. Looking very solid tonight. Let's look inside the camera there and see exactly what he's up to. The Legends cars that we saw earlier, much smaller. You can make much more room on the track, and you can get them much closer to one another without making contact and make it work. These late models, much bigger. They are much more powerful, but not necessarily much quicker. And you see Triffin Davis caught up there as well. He's definitely one of the drivers to look out for. But the thing is, the track real estate, it is very little. Do you think these guys are going to be protective of their track territory?
Yeah, of course. I mean, 125 laps at a short track that's, I don't know, 13 seconds long. I mean, you've got to be protective of your territory, and even then, 13 seconds long is a very short laps. These 125 laps are going to fly by quick. You can't just let everyone by and wait till the last 10 laps, because as soon as you blink, those last 10 laps are gone. Bye-bye. You aren't getting back up there if you wait till those last 10 laps. I'd recommend, I don't know, you wait till those last 50 or till that final restart, you know?
And it looks like more drivers joining for the first starts of the season. We're looking at Joe Armstrong now in the session. Number 22 going to be scored in the 11th spot on the timing sheets. So more drivers coming in for the very first time. Great to see that Joe Armstrong now has James Thurston right behind him. Armstrong finished second in the championship standings in the OSRL Premier Series. Braden Movick eventually came home as the champion, but he is not racing tonight. Armstrong looking to get another opportunity to take a race win in this league here, and it's a much different look, of course, with these late models, but he's been a quick driver all season long. What should we expect out of the number 22?
I mean, he's a very quick driver. Got a lot of wins in the regular series, obviously, the one that they run. This obviously an off-season series, but that won't take away from any of the action. But Joe Armstrong, I expect to see him up front tonight with James Thurston and a lot of other guys, Tryphon Davis, and possibly a few unexpected drivers I'm not, really thinking of right now. And one quick fact about Joe Armstrong, he is the only B-Class driver in this session.
And although that's the case, I think someone like Cameron Hurt with a 1.4 safety rating could be demoted if that's not brought back up. Interesting to note, Armstrong, in the sea of drivers, only driver not considered an A-Class. So even though that's the case, he's certainly an A-list driver, and he's going to be one to watch as Jonathan Oates is sideways and now back on all fours.
Exactly, and he's at 292. He's almost at that advancement. I mean, 1.4, obviously, if you don't get that up by the end of the season, due to iRacing's demotion rules, you can be demoted to B class or whatever the lower class is. And if you're lower than a 1, then you get demoted immediately. So the only class where that doesn't actually work, if you're curious, is D class. You can't go back down the rookies, fun fact. So think of that as information as you will, but very interesting to see that Steven Gibson is just kind of messing around on the track right now.
Now, the big thing about iRacing in terms of league sessions, for the most part, it doesn't necessarily matter what your safety rating is. It's not necessarily 100% accurate to how good a driver can be, as James Thurston is now going to the Flappers boneless wing stand there. Looks like he's having some fun, trying to do some things in the infield, and now continuing to drive as the drivers' meeting is in full effect. He'll stay on the track, so we'll watch him. And going back to the point about league racing, it's not in a 100% perfect metric, I rating or safety rating. You can come into a race with low I rating and absolutely destroy the field, or you can have a high I rating and still lose the race. That's just the way it goes. Depends on how these drivers work with the car that they have. The super late model and the late model stock, which we are using tonight, definitely drive different from the usual NASCAR stock cars in this league. Some drivers have adapted better, others have not. Of course, Andrew, you're an iRacing user as well. How do you think it is processed for the driver's perspective to go from the next gens to the late models being such a different package?
Well, similar, I'm going to take this in road terms, as I'm primarily a road driver myself, but it's kind of like taking the LMDH and the LMP2. One has a lot of downforce and one has a lot less downforce, but in my opinion, the LMP2 is more fun to drive, which obviously drivers will have their own preference if the next gen or the super late model, or in this case, OSRL is mainly a Gen 4 based league. If the Gen 4 or SLM, or late model stock, I should say, is more fun to drive, as I haven't had much experience with the late model stock, only drove it a few times, but I've been privileged to drive it those few times. And the Gen 4 handles similar to that of the COT if you're trying to look for a comparison. In the late model stock, it handles like a late model.
Not much like it, I'll tell you that much, as James Thurston continues to go around in circles, and it looks like he has no signs of stopping. No driver on the track right now. 21 drivers have registered for this session, going back to Wesley Person. Griffin Jones has the final time lap, and it looks like now Jack Painter is stalled on the front stretch. Final moments before qualifying, and still drivers getting ready. Qualifying coming up with a clean track, a clean slate, and it's a bit harder to get that perfect line in because the track state is sort of reset. The rubber, which you can see laid down all throughout the circuit, it is not going to be there in the same capacity, and you sort of got to lay down your own sort of tracks and tires, get the groove working. How challenging is it to get that just right, especially at a short track?
I mean, I'm going to speak on a different point, but it's still related to qualifying. Drivers do come out later thinking that, I don't know if this is a true iRacing theory, but drivers come out later thinking the track state will improve even if it's single car qualifying. But about your point earlier on how important it is to have a track, there's more grip with a more worn track, to me at least, and you know, more grip is obviously going to give you more speed, which obviously is going to get you a faster time when all is said and done. But it is quite interesting on how these guys are going to go through qualifying, because it's a completely clean slate, as you did say. And these guys are going to have to learn how to drive the track without any marbles on the track and just a 0% track state pretty much, which is just clean. It's like just like a new car smell, similar to that. And as qualifying starts here.
Practice is over. Zach Knowles is the fastest man with 41 laps of practice. He sets down a 14.297, quickest by 3 1/1000ths over Triffin Davis. Practice is concluded. Now we'll see who can capture that coveted pole position. The race for the pole is on, and now we'll see who's got what it takes. Track has been reset yet again, and it looks like now we'll see how these drivers handle with 2 laps on the board. Now, I actually have to say this, more than 2 laps for the remainder of this season. It's been a bit of a change using European qualifying, 3 laps in 5 minutes, giving these drivers 1 extra lap than the traditional short track format, so they'll have 1 more chance to get it all down and make it work just right.
Yeah, as you mentioned, European qualifying. I'm very curious on what European qualifying means. Is it a reference to that of the Euro NASCAR series, as we're watching the number 46 of Ethan Corder?
Now, when it comes to the information we were given, we're going to look back on the entire announcement to make sure we have all the information just right. This started last week. A change made at the Las Vegas Bull Ring to understand it. Instead of the normal 2 laps, which you of course see in the American NASCAR Tour, we're using 1 extra lap, which is considered semi-Euro qualifying. So it happens to go based on international standards, as opposed to the way we do it most often in America.
Okay, well that explains a lot for me and the viewers at home, and that's a very interesting format, as I did not know there was short track racing outside of America. Obviously, I'm very interested in American sports, as we're watching the number 73, now the number 34. That is going to be, if I can check the timing screen right here, Tyler Williams. I was hoping I wouldn't get it wrong, but that's Tyler Williams going around the track. Looking pretty fast right now in 15th, only 3:45 off. Obviously, 3/10 do mean a lot at a short track here, because, 13 seconds a lap, I'm pretty sure you can figure it out on your own, but 13 seconds a lap is pretty short, and 3/10 does mean a lot, wouldn't you say?
I would say 100%. The top 3 are separate by only 69 1,000ths of a second. Triffin Davis has the provisional pole, Zach Knowles has 2nd, and Steven Gibson has the 3rd spot as it stands. James Thurston going to qualify in 4th, and 5th would be currently Paul Mikolajic, with over 19 drivers going on the track, and 19 exactly having a time put down. Looks like we're watching the number 22 of Joe Armstrong in his final qualifying lap. He's pushing to the limit. What's it going to be for Joe? It looks like it's going to be 3rd. Very close to taking it over Zach Knowles for 2nd, but he'll have to settle for the podium here in qualifying. Down to the bottom, Joe Armstrong goes, Cole Freilich and Wesley Person also on pit road. But as it stands, nobody else going on the track. Harry Grindell, Regan McCauley, and Griffin Jones are the drivers we're waiting on. Do we expect to see them? That's not necessarily a certainty, of course, but they could come out late. Andrew, do you think there's any reason they're waiting on it besides, of course, just not being at their sim?
Obviously, as I did mention earlier, drivers do believe it's more of like a way of the track just warming up, or not warming up in this case, but marbles being put down by drivers, and they've waited till the end of the session, in which I mentioned earlier. It's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, I know Harry Grindell a decent amount. He does AC sim racing, and he's a pretty good driver at it, so I'm not really surprised to not see him make a qualifying run till the end. But now that qualifying's advanced, and we're ready for the race. 125 laps of action here at Southern National.
And the grid has been set. Let's put all the tickers away and get ready to show you the starting grid for tonight's event, the main feature in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout, and Triffin Davis, who won our preliminary event. He's there on the top of the board yet again with a 14.234. That's going to be the top spot on the order, with Zach Knowles right beside him in the 2nd spot, the 742 there in 2nd. Joe Armstrong going to be 3rd in his number 22 machine, and Steven Gibson is 4th with James Thurston position number 5. Paul Mikolajic is going to be there in 6th, and Jack Painter is position number 7. 8th will be occupied by Cirrus Birthday. Ethan Corder finds himself in 9th, and finally, Jonathan Oates rounds out your top 10.
Next, we got Mo Perry with a 14.394, Jeffrey Stanton with a 14.398, Cole Freilich, Nolan Sanford in row 7, Tyler Williams with a 14.461, Cameron Hurt with a 14.481, Nathan Kiani, the Canadian, 14.503, Wesley Person, 14.650, and here we go, Nick Rotten in row number 10, 14.693, and Harry Grindell, our first of the DNQs, or not DNQs, but that chose not to qualify. And then rounding out our field, Reagan McCauley and Griffin Jones.
22 drivers set to get on the grid. Now it looks like every one of which are on, and the iRacing official pace car's lights are off. It'll be ready to grab a gear and get racing momentarily. The pace car will be off, and soon after it will come the field. We've got 22 drivers, but only one can take home the checkered flag. So, Andrew, with both of us in the broadcast booth here, how's about we both take our pick? I'm going to start, and I'm going to say James Thurston. That number 62 machine, he's fifth on the board right now. I think he's got a chance to go all the way to the top yet again. He didn't qualify on pole last time he went racing. He battled Rudy Valentine, very, very strong driver in any off-season event we have in the OSRL League. I think that Thurston can go 2 for 2 tonight if he just keeps that car under him and finds his way to the final lap.
Yeah, I was going to take a different pick here. I'm going to take Joseph Armstrong. Probably could translate all of his model stocks. And mentioning Rudy Valentine, obviously being in that legendary finish that put us on the iRacing top 10, I want to mention that finish again since I'm really proud of that finish. Here's Joe Armstrong in that beautiful iRacing 22. Obviously, I'm going to take him as my pick. He looks pretty fast tonight, and I think he can win this race.
Armstrong and Thurston, both regulars in the Premier Series, both of which very strong race-winning contenders. They're here tonight in Southern National, trying to get it done nitty-gritty in the short track scene. Happy birthday, Cirrus Birthday! The main event's on its way, and the green flag will fall 125 laps in the Cirrus Birthday Bash.
Obviously, a great start by Davis, and there's already a caution.
Back in the field, Tyler Williams. Caution flies, and we are under yellow. Looks like the 34 gets caught up in it. Let's take a look and get an instant replay, as soon as we get this race started, we find ourselves at the yellow. The replay is going to take us back before the race even began. But now, we'll get a good chance to take a look and see what choices brought that caution out. You can see Williams ahead of Kiani there, going into 1 and 2, and immediately, multiple cars make contact.
Yeah, that looked like a very bad stack-up, obviously. I do want to see that replay again. I mean, I brake early on the first lap just to give myself some space, so that might be what Tyler Williams was trying to do there. We're going to go back and watch it again. Oh, that's a bit too far early. But here we go, looking at our race start. No, that's...
just a bit before a race starts.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it all once again and try to get a different perspective. Williams breaks a bit early, then he hits Nathan Kiani, then it looks like the number 60 of Mick Rotten gets involved. So let's take a look and get at it once again and try to see what we can make of it.
Can we see an overhead shot? Because I'd like to see that. Could probably help.
Take a blimp camera, we'll see.
Yeah, oh. Yeah, just... Yeah. He did break early, that's what I was thinking. Then Kiani didn't expect it. Rotten, Kiani, and Williams getting to that wreck. I was right on the guess because, I don't know, it's just kind of habit. Unfortunately, that sets Kiani into 21st and Rotten into 22nd.
And worst of it all for them, it gives them damage already. So they're already on the back foot. And just like that, the caution will fly 5 laps in out of 125. Unbelievably, our caution laps are only 30 seconds long. That's only twice as long as a race lap would be. We are still flying through the laps, even if these caution laps count. And we're stacked up once again up ahead. It's going to be Triffin Davis down low. Joe Armstrong already able to make it up to second. And now we'll get at it once again. One more lap of pacing. And Davis, with that lead, still holds it. And as we come through, 1 lap to green this time around, and for the first time this season, we are using the choose cone rule in the short track showdown. Coming around this time by, it looks like everyone's going to stay where they are. However, for future cautions, it should be put into effect. Everyone putting a hold in place for this one to just get us back on the way. Now, we'll see what Triffin Davis can do as the green flag flies for the first restart of this event.
And here we go, Triffin Davis protecting the inside. Joe Armstrong, my pick, is obviously going to way back a bit to get to that inside line, which is preferred here at Southern National. Gets under Tryphon Davis, and is going to take the lead here on lap 8, leading his first lap and being the first separate person other than the pole sitter to lead the lap.
And new race leader Joe Armstrong takes it to the top of the board. He's got now Steven Gibson right behind him. We'll take a look at the intervals that just came up on your screen. The 22's got the edge. Zach Knowles now hangs to the bottom. And it looks like already Tryfon Davis being filed out by the field. He'll stay on the high side. That's a troublesome place to be. As you said it, inside line is preferred. How hard will it be for Tryfon to hold on to the spots he has on that higher lane?
Honestly, no matter what you do, you just kind of have to pray that the car inside is going to make a mistake or anything in between, maybe just braking a bit early, doesn't want to get under. Because it's lap 11, you shouldn't be this aggressive into a short track race. I know that kind of makes me a hypocrite for my point earlier, but I personally think that you want to wait till, I don't know, maybe halfway, which would be around lap 75-ish. Maybe after the competition caution, that you want to wait till get aggressive, because at this point you just don't want to wreck your car early. You don't want to wreck it, and you really don't want to use that fast repair. As here comes the 21, that beautiful unsponsored 21 under the 22 iRacing car, and that's going to be the pass. No side by side. Back to you, David.
And now Steven Gibson going to be working to the bottom side of Joe Armstrong. They're side by side yet again. Looks like Gibson's got the clear and Armstrong remains in second. Three-car battle up ahead while James Thurston works right behind. Now Thurston's in fourth. Armstrong's in second. Both drivers running very well, but they've got multiple drivers to deal with too. Zach Knowles, the fastest man in practice, tries to take it down in his triple-digit thread as we see multiple battles in the same frame. Now Jonathan Oates tries to use the high side to his advantage. He's now locked up there, and it looks like he'll have no help. Unlike Zach Knowles, who's just barely able to keep the side-by-side battle going on Paul Mikologic, looks like the 73 is out on his own, and Mikologic is quick enough to get that clear, just barely, yet again. Now Jonathan Oates stays on the high side. He got in the wall and already has just a bit of damage. 17 laps in. You've mentioned aggression a few times already, Andrew, and you can see some drivers a bit riskier than others. How is it from the driver's perspective trying to keep it all in your level when other drivers are trying to be a bit riskier or other drivers are trying to do it a bit differently? How can you manage that from your perspective in the driver's seat?
I like to usually compare things about different experiences, and if drivers are trying to be aggressive, I'm going to take the NR Cup Series Michigan as an example. Drivers were really aggressive that race, or any NR Night race in general. I usually let the people buy early, and then I come back later after I save some of my stuff and just come back through the field able to go by. Maybe, you know, if a guy's slower than me, I'm just going to go by, but obviously if a guy's faster than me or is just going to be more aggressive, I might as well just let him by. Harry Grindle is blinking. Obviously, being the lone Brit in this race and obviously being over the sea, he's going to be having some internet issues, but he does keep blinking, which he has some internet issues, which
now
did
keep in
happen.
mind, Harry Grindle technically finished inside the podium last time we went racing at the Bull Ring. Scored in second, although he was multiple laps down. His internet has been an issue using Sky Broadband. He mentioned it in our interview last week. It's been troublesome trying to hold on to a solid connection, but he's been told in the case there is a disconnection, race like you're on the lead lap. That's what he did. That's why he's second in points and only 3 behind our current points leader. He's got himself in a good position to continue competing, but Tryfon Davis right now does have the advantage over him by a few positions. He's still working with Cameron Hurd here. The points battle is heating up, and we're taking an off week next week. This is big if you want to keep your championship hopes alive as Steven Gibson continues to run away. Thurston now in third, Joe Armstrong in second, and side by side they'll go again, Mikologic and Zach Knowles. Heading back to the points discussion, tonight might be the turning point. You need a good run to keep yourself in it, or if you want to run away, you get that win. How's it going to be with drivers keeping points in mind now as opposed to individual race wins?
Well, race wins do help with your points a lot. Like, you win a race, that's going to help your points a lot. Obviously, this isn't a NASCAR 2023 playoff format, but speaking about Paul Mikologic, I've had the pleasure of racing with him quite a few times in FTF1. He's a great driver. I would not be surprised to watch him pass the 742, my bad there, but 742, I would not be surprised to watch. We'll find a way to buy him.
It looks like Zach Knowles finally ahead of Paul Mikologic there. It's been troublesome, these two battling for several laps in succession, but now at the nearly quarter-way marker, 30 laps in out of 125, it finally looks like the 70-42 got his way. Position number 2 going to be held by Joe Armstrong just ahead. James Thurston's in third with Trifton Davis in fourth. The closest battle on the racing circuit as it stands looks to be just behind this frame. Take a look at Jeffrey Stanton right now in the 10th spot. That's the number 61 machine. He's right there just behind the 46 of Eaton Cortair. Multiple drivers here very close to one another, and the mid-pack is very close. I mean, you can see different groups, different levels of aggression. I even saw Mo Perry now getting close to some action there, but it looks like right now all is well in that third group as he almost hit the wall, able to keep it intact. Looking again at our leader of Steven Gibson, he's got that clean air, has that track position, and he is not worried at all about making contact with anything, a car, the fence, what have you, and the dust, of course, the marbles being laid around the track are very visible from our perspective at least, as now one driver in the wall, that's Tyler Williams.
Yeah, and you're speaking about clean air here, but I really wouldn't be speaking about that for much longer. You saw a black car in the frame there right in front of our leader, Steven Gibson. I really couldn't tell who that was. That's going to be, oh, there's Tyler Williams spinning, going to keep it rolling. Tyler Williams does go a lap down. Oh, just under Joseph Armstrong, and he's going to spin it in the pit road pretty cleanly. No caution needed. But I'd like to go focus back on that leader that we have of Gibson, and you can see the black car right in front of our two white cars right there. The two white cars are our leader, and that's Ron. Obviously had that wreck earlier in the race, about to go 2 laps down, unfortunately for him. And after he gets by, he's pretty good clean air wise, and caution is out for the second time.
Caution's out for Jonathan Oates, 37 laps in. It looks like the 73 just went spinning, and he's going to come back out of pit road, 37 in. Pretty good run there on green flag, but we'll take a look because this pack was getting very close to one another, and it looks like it just boiled over.
Yeah, that 73 had a caution on lap 37, swap the numbers around, and he got 73. But here we go watching what happened to Jonathan Oates. Oh, he just got tapped by the 46 there. And then went in the pit road. I don't know why the caution was called. No harm, no foul to me. Probably because he got in the pit road, to be fair. But I'd like you to analyze that. I'd like to see another person's perspective on that.
I think it's just multiple drivers doing the exact same thing. Tyler Williams, Nick Rotten close to being put one down and causing some trouble with the leaders, and Jonathan Oates going. That's multiple single car incidents which lead to one collective yellow. Gibson's been blinking as of recent. Looks like he does it once again. Joe Armstrong right next to him is not, and James Thurston is now there too. Both of our picks are inside the podium. They've been doing good so far. I think they can keep it up from here. But Gibson, who looked very good last week at the Bull Ring, just not able to execute late, is now up in front. Now, for those who did not watch last week and who are here tonight, first off, great to have you live on FTN. If you enjoy the broadcast, be sure to leave a like to the stream and subscribe, and we'll keep you up to date. Of course, join our Discord server, the official QR code for all Fireball Talks NASCAR related content. We'd love to have you there as a viewer, a driver, or as a broadcaster. Be sure to join the Discord on the QR on your screen. And for all iRacing information, be sure to check out the official eNASCAR newsletter for all information about iRacing, eNASCAR, the Premier Series, the Coca-Cola Series, who are all chasing $300,000 as a grand prize, the top simulation racing series for ovals in the world, and all other information regarding simulation. Be sure to check out the official eNASCAR newsletter by scanning the QR code on your screen right now. We'd love to have you aboard there, but I'll bring you back to the racing in just a moment. I'm David Kreutz alongside Andrew Schulte, our color commentator for the main event, and Cody Deemers is producing tonight as we all take on the Southern National Motorsports Park. The number 21 of Steven Gibson battled Zach Knowles last week for the race win for over 50 laps. They were very close to one another all throughout, but they then got involved, made contact with each other, and they went spinning. That ruined both the races. Now, Gibson up in front, looking to execute, and as we come around to the restart, now could be a chance to break away and get that lead again. Second restart, green flag flies, we're back underway.
We're back green here at Southern National. Steven Gibson under Joseph Armstrong. Joseph Armstrong better on these shorter runs, but Steven Gibson better on these longer runs from what I can see. Now James Thurston has a chance to come back from his long distance that he was behind. Steven Gibson looking inside. Joseph Armstrong looking outside. Tyler Williams, the only car off the track. And back to you, David.
And as we go through, Gibson going to be on the bottom side with the 22 of Joe Armstrong, now taking that lead and barely getting it over the number 21. As I was going to mention before, Gibson involved in that battle last week. He's now involved with one again. James Thurston going to drop down to the bottom side to try to make it stick on Gibson, but he'll stay in second. For Gibson right now, trying to get that win. He was not able to get it. It eluded him last week. What can he do from this perspective to get that victory and make it over the hill? Get his first short track showdown win. He was very close last week. What's the big key that you think will get him over the hill?
I don't know. You've just got to be consistent with these guys. You got to stay up front, and you just have to stay in between these two. If those two get together, Thurston and Armstrong, I mean, those guys are just going to pull away. Because Armstrong and Thurston, they don't really like each other. Obviously going off the NR rivalry. And those are birthday boys, Cirrus Birthday. But, well, I want to say, oh, we got a wreck in the back.
And a caution is going to fly for Grindel, 50th lap, and another caution. That's going to be the third, of which Ethan Cortair, Harry Grindel, both drivers going to go around, and just like that, the caution will fly once more. Harry Grindel going to be the man involved this time around. Let's take a look and understand what happened. And it looks like the 70 machine going to be down on the bottom, the 46 up high, and Grindel just comes up the track and gets hooked.
Yeah, that was... I couldn't tell who was at fault. If we could rewind it just a tad. Yeah, probably put it a bit in slow-mo. Grindel looked like he had his line. Just went a tad up. I don't know, if I was the 46, I wouldn't expect the 70 to dive down like that. That was really unexpected. I'd call that a racing incident. Maybe a little on Harry, but still a racing incident at best to me.
That's a tough one to call. We saw the freeze frames there to try to understand it moment to moment, but a racing incident brings out the third yellow flag. Joe Armstrong leads from Steven Gibson, and now James Thurston's in third, and only one retiree in this race. That's Tyler Williams. He finds himself 19 laps down, 53 laps in out of 125. The next caution is scheduled to be at lap number 63. That's your halfway break. We're almost there, and we've gone there quite quickly. Joe Armstrong's now your new race leader, and he's been able to get it ahead of the number 21. What can Armstrong do now to fend off that number 21, who's still right behind him?
Well, there's really nothing much we can see from Armstrong here, because no matter what, I think the leader has just gotten pushed out the way on these restarts. You saw him get to the lead on the first restart, then the 21 just took it away from him. Now he took the lead away from the 21, though. He does seem better on the short runs, though. I'd like to see the longest run of the night after lap 63. We're going to have a 10-lap at best run. It's looking more like 8 laps or 7 laps. Choose cone obviously being done right now, but I'm very curious to see what these guys will do when it hits lap 100, to see if any of these guys will start to go faster and maybe wait 5 more laps to go to 20 to go, but at that point, I just start going.
And we might see drivers begin to go, as you mentioned. As it stands, pit road has been mostly inactive. Harry Grindel, Paul Mikulajic, Jonathan Oates, and Ethan Cortair have all gone down to pit road within the last 5 laps. The rest of the field is on the original set of Goodyear rubber. Actually, Hoosier rubber tonight. We're using the tires from Indiana here in North Carolina. Armstrong's going to be up on the high side. He chooses to go up there, and it's going to be Steven Gibson given the bottom once again. Maybe an opportunity to lunge down low as the green flag flies for the third restart of the day.
Armstrong having that lead. Thurston looking back. Thurston really wants that lead. He's won a few races in the short track showdown, obviously to the outside of the 21, but he's just going to be right behind Armstrong. These two have had beef since 2021, I believe. Thurston just wants to get by Armstrong and go. That's the type of driver he is. He just wants to get by and go. He is kind of the patient type, but I don't know. At this point, I just start going. I think Thurston realizes that because I don't know. Earlier in the race, he might have just waited, but now he just seems like he wants to go. He wants to get that lead for lap 63 as we have Cirrus Dringe, obviously the birthday boy with all that confetti on the car. Who's that behind him? I can't tell. That orange car is. That's going to be the 52. And we have Jack Painter behind side by side with another driver. And I really want to see what this battle is going to end up like. Painter nearly into the wall, 15 under him. I have no idea who that 15 is, but he's doing a great job. That's going to be Cole Freilich. I apologize, Freilich. But Freilich just going to fall a bit off right here from Painter to the quarter panel to the door. Got a bit loose, lap 61 right here, and back to you, David.
And now the battle for the lead going to subside in just a moment. Joe Armstrong looks to be set to take it home for lap number 63. Thurston's on his back bumper, but it looks like now no reason to risk it as they come around to the halfway marker. 63 laps in the books. The caution will fly, and the halfway break is in session. Halfway through, halfway left to go, and it is Joe Armstrong up in the front of the board. The 22 first, James Thurston second, and it is now Stephen Gibson scored in third. Half of the race on its way out the door. The rest is still ahead of us. Just like that, the number 22 takes home the halfway caution. Not really a bonus, but he does have the track position. We'll see what he does with it. Do we see drivers come down to pit road for the first time tonight? Yes, we do. Thurston leads them all down to pit road, and now pit road's active.
Honestly, Joe was really in a terrible position here. If he pit, no one else would have pitted, but if he didn't pit, everyone else would have pitted. Also, quick fact I do want to mention, if you do 125 divided by 2, that does get to 62.5, but you may be wondering why not lap 62. Well, usually in math, you round up the 0.5 to be the next number, so 62.5 would be 63, but 62.4 would be 62. So, just a cool little fact for anyone who wanted to know.
And as we watch the 62 get out of pit road, it's going to be multitudes coming out there with them. It looks like our winner off pit road is set to be the driver of Jeffrey Stanton, according to timing and scoring. Stanton in a number 61 machine had a 23-second pit stop and now finds himself scored in 6th. From there on out, you'll have Cole Freilich, Ethan Corder, Triffin Davis, James Thurston, Stephen Gibson, and Jack Painter to round out the first even dozen on the board. Timing and scoring is a mess right now. New drivers at the front of the field, some drivers holding over. Looks like Joe Armstrong and Mo Perry are the only two that have not gone down to pit road at this moment. Rest of the field has gone down at least once, with Paul Mikologic and Jonathan Oates holding over. They've been out here for 13 and 12 laps respectively. They're now third and fourth. So drivers holding out. How can it be for Joe Armstrong? Of course, up high as he has the race lead. Can he defend with the old rubber?
Yeah, Mo Perry, no offense to Mo Perry, he hasn't been on the pace of Joseph Armstrong tonight, so great call by Joseph Armstrong just to keep Mo Perry down there. I don't get the reason why, but I mean, he's got to have a reason why. I'm going to guess that he just wants to keep Mo Perry down there. And one thing I do want to mention, 30 seconds a lap, pace lap, as you did mention earlier, and pit stops in these cars take 30 seconds, so you saw some people nearly get lapped if they weren't lapped by Joseph Armstrong, so that's just really how short a caution lap is here at Southern National.
And now it's 1 lap to green. The iRacing official pace car, its lights are off, and we're ready to get back at it just like that. 69 laps in, it's been a nice run for Joe Armstrong so far. Can he seal the deal? We'll find out. Green's out for the first run after halfway. Armstrong gets a tremendous jump.
Lap 69, now lap 70. Zach Knowles above Mo Perry. That's going to be Paul Mikologic looking right behind Mo Perry. Oh, there's a car in the... Oh my gosh!
And destruction to the back of the field. Caution will fly. First and involved, you can see Kiani, Oates, and it looks like it's still going. Caution is out. Let's take a look at what just happened. This one took out just about the entire field.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the field in the background shot right there. That's why I was surprised. I didn't expect that many guys out. I saw a dude spinning, thought it was just minor, but I saw Thurston up into the wall of the 21 on someone's roof. Oh, speaking of which, Freilich just got turned. Everyone just decided to stack up, and that's just a hard look. Terrible position for a lot of those guys. You can see, actually, I want to look right here. This might be a great angle. You watch the 21 turn down. He broke. I mean, it's kind of something like that. So, to put an explanation, you break normally in, I don't know, dirty races just to turn someone so you can get on their quarter panel, but I don't think that was really intentional. And that was just a horrible set of circumstances. Kind of a racing incident there, if you ask me, but I'd like to see your opinion on it, David.
Nick Rotten with a fantastic avoidance of that wreck, I'll tell you this much. It looked to be a racing deal. I want to get an on board with Nick Rotten there. That's fantastic. Let's get an inside the cockpit view, see what's going on. We'll try the left front suspension cam, which has been repurposed here on FTN. Take a look at this. Nick Rotten's cockpit view. He makes it through, and it looks like our suspension camera has been repurposed to show you the suspension entirely. Now, we'll look inside the cockpit.
Ooh. Yeah, very close.
He gets away quite well, I'll tell you this much. That's fantastic. As for the wreck, racing deal, but it takes out a lot of drivers. That's just ill-advised aggression with such a large amount of laps remaining. We got more than 50 even still, and drivers like Thurston caught up in the back of the field. Now, according to our timing and scoring, it looks like Kiani, Oates, Thurston, and Wesley Person, Cole Freilich, and Griffin Jones have all used the faster pairs up to this point, so thankfully they have one reset, but still, that puts them at a disadvantage with just about 50 laps remaining.
Yeah, but can you really blame them? That was really a hard hit for a lot of those guys involved, and man, I want to talk about that Nick Rotten onboard shot. If only we had an onboard shot of Greg Biff on the 2012 Talladega Fall Race, that would be perfect. Probably the closest we'll get with that Nick Rotten avoidance, as we're coming back to the green here with Joseph Armstrong leading the field in a 742 above. That 742 looking above, that's going to be Zach Knowles. Zach Knowles looking back. Mo Perry looks to get a bit loose. Paul Mikolajczak just above, and these guys are side by side, David.
Side by side, going through 1 and 2. Mo Perry is going to be down on the bottom after a solid top 5 finish. Mo Perry looking to get yet another, now finding himself on the low end once again. Mikolajczak going to be up high yet again indeed, and the 77 remains high as the battle for the lead begins to break away. Zach Knowles is going to be there in the 742 just behind. One driver wiggles, nothing's going to come of it, and it looks like Mikolajczak gets away for third. Now looks like the 742 fakes low up in the front of the field, but the side-by-side battle becomes a spin and a wreck. Yes, it is. Now Grindell's involved. Ethan Cortera piles in. Perry's up and over. And the 77 gets a nasty piece of it. And that is a race ender, I believe. As one driver's upside down. It's another huge wreck involving the drivers from the front of the field down to the back.
Yeah, that number 21 just took his fast repair. Man, tough break. That's just a tough break for Steven Gibson, because he took his fast repair earlier because of that first wreck, and now he's just wrecked again. It just sucks. Thurston barely getting his front tapped by Kiani, and someone was flipped over. I really can't tell who that was. Looks like
that's his number 77 machine, which appears to be on timing and scoring, not our 77. Ooh. So looking back on it, just beside Jonathan Oates, that is Wesley Person in the 7. 2 laps down and in big trouble. Nobody able to flip him over.
That's unfortunate for Wesley, man. I would have flipped him over at that point, but just unfortunate circumstances. Joe Armstrong has yet to pit for new tires. I mean, with everyone that was kind of contending for the win, the 21 of Steven Gibson, the 62 of James Thurston. I mean, Thurston in 9th right now, but man, do you think he'll be able to come up through the field? I mean, he's a great driver, sure, but with that much damage, aerodynamics do not matter on a short track, said by Alex Anderson, but you gotta wonder, will that affect his engine, though?
That remains to be seen, and it's going to be tricky to see whether or not he can make it up regardless. We're running out of time. He's in the back of the field, and Joe Armstrong has had a very, very strong hold on the entirety of the field ever since he got up here. Zach Knowles is getting close, but it looks like very few drivers have the pace. or even the potential to have that pace up at the top of the board. So with another restart in mind, I'm not quite sure what Thurston can do unless everyone in front of him wrecks. It's possible, but he's going to have to keep his car clean, take no chances, as the truest rule is in effect. Armstrong chooses low, Zach Knowles goes high, and in third, Paul Mikulajic takes it down to the bottom.
Yeah, these guys have very interesting lines. 2 laps to green. They do it with 2 laps to green, then go to double file. And let's see what's going to happen here on this restart. Joe Armstrong blinks out. His internet, obviously not the best, but we have the birthday boy up there in fourth, the number 89 of Kurt. And I apologize if I said your name wrong, but I hope he wins this, to be honest. I think the choose cone rule was introduced in 2021, though. I was trying to do some research on that, and maybe.
In regards to the real world, of course, in the NASCAR Cup Series, there was using it for the first time tonight here in the Short Track Showdown, and Joe Armstrong's been using it very well so far, as effective as ever. Green flags out yet again, 86 laps in the books. It's Armstrong down low, make it lap 87. Zach Knowles going to stay on his quarter panel there in the Cadillac 742. Now it looks like side by side further on back. Cirrus Birthday inside the top 5 takes minor damage, and Joe pulls away once more.
Yeah, Cirrus Birthday, obviously the birthday boy, looking for third. And Joe Armstrong not really doing much right now, just trying to hold off that 742. It looks like an easy job, but man, you try to hold these guys up with old tires. It's very hard. I tried to hold people up for 18th with old tires, and you know, it just sucks. We got Jeffrey standing in that 61. I always thought that was the Roush Fenway font from Greg Biffle, but it is not. And that's a very clean looking 61, however. The blue and the white, obviously in fourth right now, a very respectable fourth with the 89.
And one driver spinning. Jonathan Oates back in the field. Lap 90, cautions out once again. Another hit for the number 73, and things go from bad to worse with Steven Gibson involved. And another great run for Gibson. Going to be caught up in a wreck. Let's take a drone shot at once again, see what's going on, because Jonathan Oates is going to end up on the short end of the stick once more.
Yeah, Jonathan Oates having a lot of trouble tonight. Same with that 21 of Steven Gibson. You can see after he got into the back, it was just starting to be unfortunate. Oh, James Thurston too, and then that was the 46 and the 15, and a lot of these guys. Oh, the 09 making a very, or not 09. That's what I read from his roof. Normally the roof is supposed to be like Jonathan Oates, but that's going to be the 60 of Nick Roten. My bad there, Nick. But I want to go to the onboard shot of him in the cockpit, because that was a very close call. Just like, I want to compare that to another close call we had in a different league, if you don't mind.
And that close call would be?
That would be the SRL Charlotte off of a under caution. I thought that was more high speed. Yeah, just to look right there. It may be slow, but any later that Nick Roten was there, he would have hit the 46 of, I don't know. I apologize, but the 46 would have nearly hit the 60 there, and that close call would be the SRL Charlotte on a restart where I believe Jason Alexander missed the 71, and that would be the 46 I was talking about. That would be
Ethan Cortera.
Ethan Cortera, my bad, Ethan, but we thank everyone for showing up tonight in the OSRL Short Track Challenge. 22 cars did enter here at Southern National. A free track that you can get on the iRacing service when you sign up. You can start with it at the rookies level, I believe, this week. I haven't checked that schedule, but there's a chance you could race it this week, next week, or maybe even the week after. You can race it in the Legends cars, the Street Stocks, or whatever car you desire. All you have to do is just sign up on the iRacing service, and there's our iRacing plug. As there's 31 to go, lap 95 of 125, now 30 to go as the intervals come up on your screen. Obviously not having a chance to put them up on your screen with all of these cautions, but hopefully we do not have any more cautions till the end of the race.
And with 30 laps remaining, it's the iRacing machine who leads the way in Joe Armstrong. He's got Zach Knowles down to the bottom once again. He's gone back and forth throughout the last few cautions. Most recently, went down to the bottom, but now choosing the high side. Looks like Joe Armstrong's been able to make it work wherever he goes. It's Zach Knowles second. Paul Michalacek going to be there in the 3rd position, and the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton going to occupy position number 4 as we get through once again. 29 laps to go this time by. It's going to be Zach Knowles on the bottom, but Joe Armstrong, your leader, takes him through once again. Green flags out once more. We're back underway here in Southern National.
Armstrong round the outside, getting close to that 742, but the 742 will back off. And Joseph Armstrong, that's Zach Knowles in the 742. Jeffrey Stanton and Zach Knowles looking to fight Paul Michalacek, obviously looking inside of Jeffrey Stanton, and Jeffrey Stanton looking to the outside of the 742 of Zach Knowles, and it just looks like a domino effect. I was watching an iRacing video the other day where one dude turns another and then turns into another. It's a domino effect, and if one wrong move happens with Paul Michalacek, that could turn horrible for these other 2 guys in the pack, and maybe the pack behind, because they're in very close proximity. It's a short track. You're always going to be near someone no matter how hard you try to be far away, and it's very interesting on how short tracks work with 25 to go.
25 laps remaining this time by. We're going to take it to 24 next around. 101 laps in the books already, and they're side by side, multiple lanes deep. The only driver breaking away right now is Joe Armstrong. Armstrong's got a major advantage as we speak in that number 22. He's got the edge now over Zach Knowles, and Jeffrey Stanton's there in 3rd. Podium now going to be single file, but the battles afterward are getting intense. Take a look right now to Nolan Sanford, the number 52 machine. The Kodak orange is going to be right behind the top 3, and as we take a look at that number 52, he's battling right now at Cirrus Birthday number 89. And 23 laps remain. Make it 22, so how's about we crank it up with the best iRacing cameras on the platform, our track cams. 22 to go, crank it up. Brought to you by trackcams22.com. And now it's 17 laps to go. Time is running out for every driver. Joe Armstrong leads, and he's had the lead for quite some time in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout. Everyone else picking up the scraps. We're looking at the middle of the field right now with Harry Grindell, multiple drivers around. Gibson, Rotten, and Griffin Jones. The caution flies once again.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention is that 54 Mo Perry, you did see him on the bottom of the track a few laps ago, maybe about 10. That's how short these laps are. Ooh, we might have a bit of beef there, but happy birthday to Cirrus Gringe and Ethan Corder, trying to become Ross Chastain. Unfortunately does not, and not advance himself to the Final Four of the NASCAR playoffs. But there's Mo Perry. Oh, we just missed the wreck of Griffin Jones, Ethan Corder, and wait, is that the 64 of Regan McCauley? Oh, did he turn him? Can we get an overhead shot of that? That was very interesting. It's probably going to be our best angle once again. Thank you to the trackcams22.com for these overhead shots. And just take a look here. Yeah, I don't know. That might be on Griffin Jones, but Griffin Jones obviously getting the worst of that. And Mo Perry getting turned up into from Ethan Corder.
And multiple drivers going around on that hit. 14 make it 13 laps to go this time by. Time is running out. Joe Armstrong's had a stranglehold on this race, and nobody's been near him so far. And it looks like now, if Zach Knowles has anything left in the tank, he's going to have to use it here, because there seems to be no other opportunity. Armstrong's been quicker in the long run. On the short run, the best you can do is try to lunge it in on a restart and hope it works. We'll go green with what looks to be a total of 10 laps to go. The final shootout for 125 lap feature race. The caution flag flies. You see Barney the flagman there, and every driver looking to get this thing going in just a few moments. Now the podium is comprised of Armstrong, Paul Mikulajic, and Zach Knowles, as Mikulajic goes up high to try to grab that second spot with a bit of track position as the advantage.
Yeah, Zach Knowles and Joe Armstrong on the same line. That might be a great strategic call, as the inside line is definitely going to boost your chances of winning or being in the top two here. And I'm very interested to see how this move works out, because it's a very great move. And let's see how it works on this restart with 10 to go. 10 laps, you've got to push, and you've got to do anything you can. Here we go, Paul Mikulajic to the top of Joe Armstrong, now trying to dive in. Zach Knowles in the 742 looking behind. Paul Mikulajic low again in that 77. Side by side, nearly on his quarter panel. And he's going to lose all the time that he had on Joe Armstrong. Now he's going to battle with everyone third and back. Looking for second, that would be the 27 of Tryphon Davis. And Tryphon Davis unfortunately not having it, nor Zach Knowles. And wow, this is very intense. David, can you give us some more insight?
Well, it looks like Paul Mikulajic not able to make it stick there. He was side-by-side momentarily, but now Joe Armstrong's got the pace yet again. 70 Machine Harry Grindell gonna slip back once more. Looks like it's gonna be Cirrus Duringe trying to get inside the top 5. As the number 97 of Jack Painter fends him off yet again. The 89's got the bottom lane, which has been preferred, and he might be able to use it once more. Time running out. What can Paul Mikulajic do? What can anyone do to pick up any more spots? It seems like right now the only man in control is the 22.
Yeah, and here's our birthday boy, Cirrus Duringe, obviously running 6th right now. The 97 of Jack Painter in front, the 9 behind, and I'm curious to see where he finishes. 5 laps to go, nothing really more he can do except just wait for a mistake from Painter or maybe a huge wreck, but I don't know. I think if there's no green white checkers, we've already passed the point of no return. Zach Knowles in that 742. 2 cars in front, and here's Joe Armstrong, 3 to go. My pick to win, obviously. White possibly has it in the back, and caution's out, man. I'm sorry, Joe.
And we head to overtime. Cole Freilich going to be involved in that incident, and the caution flag flies with the 15 of Cole Freilich involved. Let's take an instant replay and find out what caused this one. Just before we hit the 2 lap to go marker, the caution returns yet again. Looks like Freilich going to be on the high side with Jonathan Oates, beating him, banging. Freilich going to be up high, Oates going to be down low, and it looks like from there the 15 makes contact, and that's going to take Oates to multiple drivers. Another chain reaction brings out the caution.
Yeah, I'd like to see an overhead shot of that. And wow, let's go see what happens here. Jonathan Oates under the 15. Just tried to dive it in. Ah, yeah, that's what happens. And one thing I wanted to talk about with a lot of these guys having damage, front end damage does affect the car a ton. So if you have front end damage, it's not going to end so well for you. And honestly, Paul Mikulajic, Joe Armstrong are the last 2 guys on the track. Maybe Zach Knowles are the last 3 guys on the track in the top 5 with no front end damage. But that 27 of Tryphon Davis does have front end damage, and let's see how he conserves it here with 3 laps to go, able to hold anyone off. Oh, Jack Painter has no front end damage either.
And now, with 3 laps remaining, time is running out. This will be an eNASCAR style overtime, which means it's a green, white, checkered finish to get this one done. We've passed the 125th lap. We will extend the race, and if we have any further caution before the white flag, the race will continue to be extended up to 3 attempts of this format. If we get to the white flag, no matter what, the race will end checkers or wreckers. The race will be official at the time the final lap is completed, whether it's completed under pacing or with racing. Armstrong up high, gonna be Mika Logic down low. Andrew, before the restart gets underway, any final thoughts?
I'm curious on how many green and white checkers we have to waste, because we might need an extra few with how aggressive these guys are going to be on the restart. It's going to be interesting to see how aggressive these guys are with 3 laps to go in their possibly final restart and chance to win here or gain any spots and points. Back to you, David.
Now, it's going to get onto it yet again. Joe Armstrong back on the pedal. 2 laps to go. The first overtime attempt of the day is underway. Gonna be Paul Mikalogic down low with Zach Knowles there on the high side. 742's got it up top, but Mikalogic has it there in second, and it looks like it will be barely official. 1 lap to go. Grindell spins, and now Armstrong's gotta make it through just half the track more if he wants to win. They're getting feisty back of the pack, but it looks like for Joe Armstrong, it is set in stone. Jacob, of course not the winner. It is Joe Armstrong getting it done in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout. 125 laps, and Armstrong had it in control since the very beginning.
Gianni giving a nice shove to Joseph Armstrong. Usually that shove is to congratulate drivers. And one thing I do want to mention there, I'd like to go back after we watched Joe's burnouts and look at how Harry Grindell spun. That was a very weird spin, and honestly, very unfortunate for him, but he's going to go to pit road and park it probably in anger. Not how he wanted this race to end, but that's exactly how Joe wanted this race to end. Obviously taking the W home, taking the trophy home from the OSRL Short Track Showdown, and obviously my pick, David, your pick, James E. Thurston, finished in 9th. That's very unfortunate for you, but great for me.
Joe Armstrong able to get it done on debut, the second driver this season, actually the third driver this season to do just that. Another brand new winner. Armstrong gets it done by half a second over Zach Knowles in the triple-digit thread, with Paul Mikalogic third, Jack Painter in fourth, and Triffin Davis there in fifth. It's Cirrus Giringe in a celebratory night for him, coming home in sixth, 1 second behind the leader, with Cameron Hurt seventh, Nolan Sanford eighth, and James Thurston ninth, your winner from Music City. Nathan Chiani comes home in 10th, with 11th place being occupied by Regan McCauley on debut, with Steven Gibson 12th, Ethan Cortez 13th, and Jeffrey Stinton in 14th.
Now 15th is going to be Jonathan Oates, 2.43 seconds back. Nick Rotten, Griffin Jones, our first car, 3 seconds back. Cole Freilich, 5 seconds back. Harry Grindell, 9 seconds back. And Wesley Person, our first car a lap down, being 2 laps down. Our final 2 cars going to be Mo Perry and our first and only retiree, Tyler J. Williams, 97 laps down. That's a lot of laps that he's going to have to make up if he wants to rejoin, but he can't anymore. The race is finished.
And this race is over. We'll take a brief iRacing promotional break to get everything settled. Our top 3 are waiting for us right now, and we'll get a word from each and every one of which as we head to a brief break. We'll be right back live on FTN. Stick around for top 3 interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150, NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang, NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang, Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150, NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang,
And as we return from a
NASCAR
fantastic
Cup Series
night
Next-Gen
at the Southern National Motorsports Park, we'll bring in your third place driver for the first interview of the day. Paul Mikolajic and the number 77 comes home to round out your podium. We got Andrew with our third place finisher right now.
Welcome to the booth, Paul Mikolajic. I hope I pronounced your name right the entire race. And how does it feel? A P3 in Southern National, a very unexpected one, but obviously a very welcoming one.
Yeah. I threw away the second place on that restart, which was a little bit of a bummer. I hit the apron, and Zach's my buddy, so I don't want to like hit the throttle and just push him all the way up the track and make him lose a lot of spots. But that was a fun race. I tried to flip this like the halfway caution, like you would flip a stage at a road course in NASCAR, and yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, obviously the halfway break going very good. Now, how was racing Joe Armstrong? Did you guys just know you didn't have a chance, or did you guys think you were going to get him on old tires?
The problem was in that last run there, I absolutely drove off my right front tire, just trying to protect the bottom. So I just drive in real hard, and by the time that, and he was every time he was probably a half a second ahead of me. So there's no point in like super trying to like push for him when there's somebody right on my bumper. So I was just really trying to protect, and then just burned off my right front.
Yeah, really good result from here at Southern National. P3, obviously, in that number 77. No manufacturer on it, but that really doesn't matter. All that matters is that you got the third place, and anyone you want to thank at home.
Actually, there is a Chevy emblem on it. It's right above the black bumper.
My bad.
I'd like to thank Racecraft Academy and Apex Gaming PCs and Next Level Racing. Yeah, that's about it. And Zach for being a buddy.
Yeah, obviously we thank Zach for racing tonight, and we thank you for showing up tonight also. I hope you take home I hope you enjoy your P3, but I do hope you enjoy your P3. Will we see you back next week?
Probably. No, actually,
Awesome.
no. I will not be here next week.
Oh, right. In 2 weeks' time. My bad.
Oh, I will be here in 2 weeks.
My bad. But yeah. Anything else you want to say?
I will let you all know. It's Mikolajic.
Okay, so I got it right.
Yes, you were close.
Yes.
Whatever the other guy said was completely wrong. I'm throwing you under the bus.
That's crazy. Yeah, thank you for your time, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yep. See you later.
See you later.
And from our third place finisher, let's bring in the number 742, Zach Knowles, with us yet again. He finds himself very close to the victory, second place on the order here in Southern National. How was it tonight here, second place?
Second place was awesome. I'm happy to not get wrecked for once. The last race was a kind of kick in the groin where got to first place, so like 70 laps, got wrecked, and then back up to second and got wrecked again. But very happy with second place.
Able to keep yourself once again in contention for the checkered flag till the end. Looks like Joe Armstrong had a bit more in the tank there, but you were still fiercely battling all throughout in the top three. How was it working with the drivers up in front here, able to make it to the finish almost at the top?
Everyone was pretty respectful up there. It's really nice to see. Everyone's giving themselves room and good battles on the top side and bottom side. Joe was playing a lot of games with the restart, which kind of got me and Paul mixed up every once in a while. And Paul's my buddy. I was talking to him the whole race, and big shout out to him for not wrecking me at the end. I know he wanted to race hard for that second place, and I wanted to race as hard, but still maintain position. So shout out to Paul.
And fantastic battles all throughout for the both of you there, all throughout the way. We saw, of course, able to get it there on the final restart. Overtime finish, how was it managing with 65 laps on the tires, just barely able to stretch it?
Yeah, it got a little hairy at the end there. I kind of felt that my right front was falling off as well as my right rear, but I know Paul pitted early because he's trying to get the track position on the halfway restart. So I elected to stay out and get the tires, and I was surprised when Joe stayed out. Really surprised, and he maintained that speed the whole time. I think a lot of the caution saved him. His tires were definitely cooling down in the caution laps, which I'm sure saved him. But yeah, pretty happy.
And able to come home with a solid finish to keep the momentum up. Now we have a 2-week time span until our next race. North Wilkesboro will bring us back yet again for the Short Track Showdown. Do we expect to see you there?
I should be there if my schedule permits it. I've actually never raced there, so got to get the track, but looking forward to it. The races that I've seen, at least in real life, with the renovation and stuff like that, it's awesome. Can't wait to race there.
And we hope to see the 742 competing there yet again at the front. Second place tonight. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank to wrap the interview off?
Definitely got to thank everyone that makes it possible. Nitro Circus Sim Racing team, huge shout out to them. Teal, Josh, all those guys are off-road trucks guys. You see them race Wednesday nights on the Off-Road Pro 4 Championship. Next Level Racing, and then all the people watching, supporting me. Highly appreciate it. And you guys, of course.
And there we have it. Second place finish in contention to the very end. It's Zach Knowles, second place here in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout. Second place at the end of the day. Thank you for your time. I'm going to bring Zach Knowles down to the waiting room yet again to get your race winner who had the field in the palm of his hand from the very beginning. The 22 of Joseph Armstrong gets it done to the iRacing Chevy Camaro, clearly ahead of the field all race long, brings home the checkered flag on debut. Big win. How you feeling?
Yeah, like you said, my debut race in this series, my iRacing Chevy Camaro was really fast. I made the mistake early of over driving it a little bit first few laps and allowed the 21 to get around me, but I felt like on the long run we could really hold our own, and I was able to drive back up to him right before we got a yellow at like lap 40 something, and then got by him on the outside. And at that point, I was like, I'm the fastest car here on old tires, and I might as well not pit because we had a spree of yellows leading up to the halfway. And I was hoping that a few more guys would stay out, but luckily I had enough of a buffer to where guys couldn't get through in time. I was worried late that Triffin would have gotten up there. He got up to fourth, I believe, on the last or second to last yellow, one of them, and he was going to be the first one on tires, I believe. So once we got those late yellows around 30 to go, the goal was kind of just to mismatch and play games with those guys to make sure they to keep them off guard. And so we did a good job. I did a good job of that and brought home P1. It was really fun. I honestly had a great time. I love short track racing, and anytime I get the opportunity to do it on iRacing, I try to do it. So I had a good time tonight, and hopefully, if everything aligns right, I can be back for Wilkesboro.
And a great way to open up your short track showdown season, as you mentioned. North Wilkesboro is up next and able to take away, of course, a lot from this victory. How's it going to be converting this late model experience to the next race?
It's going to be hard. I think the tracks are just so different, right? Wilkesboro is I think a 3/4 mile, a little bit less banked, and just a little bit more racing grooves to work with versus here, where it's one groove on the bottom, kind of like a bigger Bristol if you think about it. And so I don't think a lot's going to translate, but definitely getting some experience in this car with the guys that I'm racing around should help me a little bit come next couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to it, and you'll hopefully see me there.
And a great way to get the season started for Joe Armstrong, back from a very solid Premier Series campaign to win on debut in the Short Track Showdown. Any final thoughts to wrap off this interview?
Thank you guys for streaming tonight. Y'all are stellar, doing a great job of promoting the series. So thank y'all for that, and shout out to Jack Painter and everyone who puts this on. Shout out to Christian Gamboa and Forward Studios. And yeah, shout out to iRacing, obviously. They were on the car, so.
And there we have it, of course, on an iRacing event. An iRacing car wins. Joe Armstrong takes the number 22 to a controlling victory here in the Southern National Motorsports Park. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
And Joe Armstrong on his way gets it done here in the Cirrus Birthday Shootout. A fantastic event for that number 22. Andrew taking away this race. All around great racing. The most clean racing we've seen all season. And even still, we see a great battle till the end. How was it for you?
I mean, first time up here in the booth, it was an amazing watch. I'm going to have to go back to watch the entire race in itself because that was some great racing. You've had amazing action, whether cautions or green flag runs, you still had battles all over the track. And that's what really makes the late model stock one of my favorite cars on the surface, because no matter where you go, there's always going to be a battle on the track. It's not like mile and a halfs where you guys are going to be spread out till the next yellow. This is short track racing where you're going to be close to someone, bumper to bumper, and no matter what, you're going to be in close proximity with someone, which makes me really love these cars and tracks, even though I suck at them. Back to you, David.
And it looks like for Southern National, the night is over, the track is empty, but we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at the North Wilkesboro Speedway when the Short Track Showdown gets back in action from NASCAR's throwback track. A fantastic event here tonight. We got to thank all the viewers for coming out yet again. Amazing to have the crowd here watching some great short track action. As it's been all season long, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, alongside Andrew Schulte on the color commentary, and Cody Deemers producing behind the screen here tonight. We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the OSRL Short Track Showdown, and we hope to see you whenever the season continues. Hopefully, that will indeed be in 2 weeks' time. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed this presentation yet again, and we hope to see you whenever we're live again on FTN. Thank you all, and we hope you have a great night.